Hello, hello, everybody. We're on to the cathedral. I did all the things. Did all the things. Cathedral time. Enter the cathedral. The cathedral of death. Well, maybe not. Man, seriously though, every time somebody mentions Ash was acting out of character and Reen says nothing, I want to slap him. Just slap him. The slappiest of slaps. How could the cathedral be this completely empty?
So, you've arrived at last.
Hi, Rosine. Were you doing magic on the people? From the Leaves Chapel, Sister Rosine. Expecting you to show up here, but your main object is different, right?
Yes, it's good to see you all again.
By the way, everyone, behold, the church has secret conspiracies of
Please,
its own.
come in. They're waiting for you just over there.
You may be surprised to learn this.
Ah, I'm glad you all finally made it.
Ah, the partitioner Thomas.
The church has decided this issue now merits the attention of the Congregation for the Sacraments. As such, the Archbishop and all the staff here have been moved to another location.
I get it now. So the Dominion, I believe, is the term for them. You're that former instructor from Thor's main campus. Thomas?
Thank you for all your diligence, Rosine. I'd feel much better if you were to stand watch over the front door now, just in case.
Yes, understood. Leave it to me.
I wonder if she has one of those badass swords that Reese had. Pretty sure there's two.
Let me introduce you. This man is a member of the Gralsritter, a division of the Septian Church. He's the second in command, in fact. Thomas Lysander. He holds the seat of Second Dominion and is sometimes known by his title, the Partitioner.
He can make extra-dimensional spacey spaces. Gralsritter? Alright, organization that's run by the church. The Fuma Terrorist S was once among the ranks. Wait a minute. Guys, does that mean? Are you?
Now allow me to introduce you. This man is one of the Gralsritter's 12 Dominion.
Oh, man, you moved up in the world, buddy.
The successor to the 8th Dominion, Gaius Warzel.
But why?
Yeah,
Alex.
a lot happened.
Oh,
all
it's
at
probably
once.
got, what's that, one of those stigma powers, right?
After graduating from Thors, I returned to Nord and began observing the struggle between Erebonia and Calvard. However, I began to feel something dark and sinister carried on the winds of the plateaus. I consulted my father and the chief, and eventually my old teacher, Father Barkhorn, came to visit. You might remember the name. He was the traveling priest we chased after during the Civil
That is
War.
a big man. And they talk about how Gaius is tall.
But it turns out, he was also the 8th Dominion of the Gralsritter, with the title the Roaring Lion. He was an extremely skilled knight, who investigated the Salt Pale in Northumbria and trained Brigadier General Bardius.
Well, high praise.
Apparently, he was worried, and came to Nord to check up on me. He explained to me that what I had been sensing was called the Gale of Ruin. I'm not sure why I'm able to sense it. Maybe it's because I'm a descendant of those who fought alongside the Lionheart Emperor. I mentioned this to him and he came to a realization, but then it happened. A Calvardian ship that broke past the 7th Armored Division attacked my village. My father was away at the time. I fought back in an attempt to protect my family, but
Why were
it
they
was no use.
attacking Nord? I recall Nord. It's kind of contested, but kind of its own thing. But they're like a discreet people.
Right as I prepared myself for death, my teacher threw his huge body in the way to protect me. And as he lay there dying, he passed his stigma onto me.
The stigma.
Across the nearly 1,000-year history of the Grolsritter, its highest-ranking members have each borne one of 12 sacred markings. This was one of those markings.
Many times he said many people were affected by the disaster in Northumbria. He was the most veteran. And received night training in the Holy City. Alright. Could have helped you. Considering I finished my night training, then Eustace could reach me. I will save the Empire, my second home as a member of Class 7. But I mean, yeah, like, if airships are going past their lines and attacking Nord, like, they're at war, even before they made this declaration. It's so grand and reliable. Even more pressure. That's right. They have supernatural magical powers, and you're just regular schlubs. I'm trying just as you guys.
Grandmother! Stop hiding! Come out already! You're the one who called us here in the first place, aren't you?
I only hid myself so as not to interrupt your discussion.
And because you're a cheeky little vampire. You're Emma's grandmother. The elder of the witches, Roselia, the vampire witch ghost.
But you may simply call me Rose.
I'll call you vampire witch ghost.
I had
Thank
you
you
all
very
gathered
much.
here for one reason. To explain to you the background between the Hexen clan and the church.
Uh-huh. Does that matter right now? It seems... We're supposed to the church?
It's not as though we don't believe in Adios. There have been some differences in opinion over the years, but we and the church have worked together on a number of occasions.
For example, during the War of the Lions, or the vampire incident in the Middle Ages. Not to mention the fight against the Dark Dragon 800 years ago.
But all that was just Rose sticking her nose into other people's business.
Legend has it, Emperor Dreikel's camp was once visited by a good witch. And the novel Red Moon Rose features a vampire hunter affiliated with the church who was, in truth, the true ancestor of the vampires. The woman you now see before you was both of these people, even if she looks a bit different.
So I'm curious, did she make other vampires? Were you killing people and making vampires, Rosine?
800 or so. However, you should know that my situation is somewhat unique. All other witches are normal humans. Except, of course, for the fact that they are all descendants of those who once guarded the Septarian of Fire.
Okay. The Septarian of Fire. Great Tree of Crossbow, the Aureole of Liberal. The 7 gifts bestowed on humanity by Adios. I mean, maybe. I'm not fully convinced on that degree. Because I kind of abandoned the whole crossbow thing. So I don't know what they were doing there. And there's all of one. You know, they may have tried to get the one of them, but it's hard to extrapolate from that. They were trying to get all of them. And we don't even know what reason they're trying to get them. If they even are. But anyways. Oh, I have a feeling that things will not be explained fully. Alright. Explaining things fully. People never do that. There's a front and back to this empire. Yeah, so I've been told. This was the government of war. That causes cryptids and powerful monsters from other planes to stir. They come from the first place. Ploma grass is mana grass from the higher planes. Served as the eyes near the Septerian of Mirage. Once the cross became part of the Empire, we got red Ploma grass. Connection. They are goals for the Dark Ages. They were created by the mages of the Empire to fight against the Divine Knights. Let's return once more, and they now both appear on the Spirit Path. Okay. The Society. They use, yeah. So this is what he's revealing from Osborne and the Emperor. Sought to use Crossbell's false phantasm to raid the Blaze in Erebonia. So Phantasm, Septerian Mirage, Blaze, Septerian Fire. Yeah. So that's their plan. Where did you hear that? There we go. Thank you, Reem, for starting to explain. I feel so too. You're clearly being manipulated by him, even at this stage, Reem. I need to talk to him, bud. And you left out things from them that you haven't told them about. Some change in Erebonia. Artificial created fake. Something interesting, but the Society had no interest in it. Fire and Earth at what's called the land of Erebos. Oh. Fire and Earth! Oh, so it'll be, that's why, so the witches, the Hexen, were the fire guys. And the gnomes were the Earth dudes, probably. Witches are the sons of the people who guard the Septerian Fate. Yeah. Like workshop and the gnomes are the same people. Yeah, see? I can put things together sometimes. So, Oslos family of the Liberal, the Croy family and Crossbell. Okay. Holy Beast can watch over it. You have a dragon, a wolf. Two beasts here. Oh, they vanished. Disappeared and people changed their names. What happened in Erebonia 1200 years ago? The truth! Alright.
In the beginning, this land housed two of the Septarian. The Arc Rouge, Septarian of fire and wielder of fierce power. The Lost Zem, Septarian of earth and bearer of unyielding endurance. Each assumed the form of a colossal guardian and went about granting boons and performing miracles for its people. For a few centuries, the land of Erebonia prospered, but eventually, its people began to vie for power and control.
Impossible! Oh, never mind. The Great One probably manipulated them into doing that.
The Septarians had always granted their people's wishes. But now, their peoples each wished for the other's destruction. And so, the two colossi began fighting. Their battle ravaged the earth and split the sky, devastating the entire region.
Oh, it's probably the statues in Nord and in Lamar.
The humans tried to stop them, but it was in vain. The Septarians' fight continued 1,000 days, scorching the land black. When the battle ended at long last, it was a tie. Exhausting their power in one final strike, the two Septarian were blown away, left as nothing but empty shells.
There we go. That explains why they were apart.
Yet the tale did not end there.
The power expelled by each Septarian collided and became one, resulting in the creation of an entirely new entity.
Or...
The Great One.
Ah!
The Septarian of Steel.
Interesting. Wait a minute. Okay. Let's pause here for a moment. So the Septarian of Steel, the Great One, which we've been told is behind all the evil acts that have been performed by the people of Erebonia. Its creation story is involved in the fact that people are people. And they don't need magical demons whispering in their ear to make them plot and scheme for power and the destruction of others. So...
It was an existence created from the union of fire and earth. It was beyond anything else in this realm. It was the ultimate source of power. Though things seemed fine at first, the survivors of the war soon realized the eternal conflict within it. They knew this conflict would cause it to grow ever more unstable, and that it was not something that could be handled by mankind.
Hell, the prior forms apparently weren't something you can handle, which is why you got this thing.
With the Holy Beast's assistance, the kins of fire and earth joined together to see the Great One sealed away. However, each of their attempts ended in failure. Left with no other options, they resorted to their final plan. The Great One would remain whole in the higher plane, yet its physical incarnation in this world split into numerous shards.
Okay.
It was this final gambit that saw disaster averted.
Indeed. Their combined efforts bore fruit. The Kin of Earth created 7 vessels, while the Kin of Fire split the Great One's power and infused each vessel with a part of it.
Oh, this is the Divine Knights, right?
7 dolls in the form of knights, each bearing the Great One's power. The Divine Knights.
Yeah. This is beyond fathomable. Happened 200 years ago. Something similar happened. When did Valma and the Vanities start fighting? Well, you took a power that apparently was full of conflict and you put it into things. What did you think would happen? Gnomes. Power. Watch over the reconstruction of the Great Collapse. Can expand the roles? Yeah, I was about to say, the bloodline probably spreads over 1,200 years, unfathomably, in unfathomable numbers across all of Erebonia. The other family established the city of Heimdall. Then we got a big old grumpy dragon.
900 years ago, Heimdall was a small city of only about 50,000 people. However, it was one of the burgeoning centers of culture for the region. The Septian Church had finished construction on the Heimdall Cathedral, and there were plans to develop the city even further. But it was then the Dark Dragon appeared, blanketing Heimdall in miasma and transforming it into a city of the dead.
The vampires!
Emperor Astorius chose to lead his people south and made St. Arc the new capital of Erebonia.
In helping Emperor Astorius deal with this crisis, the Hexen clan and gnomes each suffered substantial losses.
Actually, if someone can remind me, what is the official story again about what happened with Heimdall and that? Like the one that they teach as actual historical fact. Do they include a dragon? Or, like... I'm curious again on that.
The Hexen clan lost its elder, and the gnomes, their holy beast.
Aww, they lost their magic doggo.
And so ended their alliance. The final time they spoke would be a century later. It was when Emperor Hector awakened the Vermilion Knight to reclaim Heimdall from the Dark Dragon. He did so at the urging of the chief of the gnomes and the new elder of the Hexen clan, myself. However, the Emperor fell to the Dark Dragon's miasma, and the Vermilion Knight to its curse.
Now it's a grumpy rage boy.
The Emperor's son had the chief of the gnomes and myself seal the cursed knight deep below the Imperial Palace. That would be the last act our two clans performed together. I do not know why, but the gnomes cut off contact with our clan and hid themselves away. In the 800 years that followed, whenever war struck Erebonia, a divine knight would enter the stage, demonstrate its might, then vanish. I was certain the gnomes were involved, yet all we could do was guide awakeners on the proper course. This unending pattern reached its most fevered peak 250 years ago during the War of the Lions.
You know, it's really, if these things keep showing up as they have been, it is kind of weird that history keeps forgetting them. I wonder if there's something to do with that curse that does that.
The false Emperor Orthros
The Great
unearthed
One.
the cursed Vermilion Knight, and a mercenary under Prince Lucius' employ awakened the Palatinate Knight. Prince Dreichels found the Ashen Knight, and Leanne, the Argent Knight.
Ooh, Leanne Sandlot, the Steel
The
Maiden.
four awakened at once, made for a grand war indeed.
I'm not sure what to question, but yeah, many questions. Good fairy tales. Used to be quite the beauty. Says that the art depictions of me are not inaccurate. Uh-huh. The clan for becoming an immortal being. Just after I don't have many memories from before that point. There's things I still do not know. The main Leanne was the awakener of the Argent Knight. Whether or not she is Ouroboros' Steel Maiden. It is her, of that much I am certain. Alright, cool. The apocalypse only to lose her life. Yeah, but she got better. So that happened. It was I who guided Leanne to become the Argent Awakener. Leanne knew her powers were too great, so she kept them hidden away. She was fatally injured and passed away after the war. Then, there was her revival. Oh. Eyes and Ritter? One who revived their grandmother? When Leanne passed, I thought it strange how her body did not rot. She simply woke up. Oh. Oh. So is that what happened with... well, that would explain what happened to Crow. That could explain what had happened to... I can't remember his name. Fedad. The Merc... the Jaeger King. You know, that could explain Osborne, too. Now anytime I'm presented with a resurrection story, I have to think, is there a divine knight behind this? She realized what was happened to her. She left everyone to walk the earth without ever telling her loved Dreichels. Well, that's a... I don't know why she... That's mean. She could go to hang out. Occasionally met her whenever she came around, but the last time was 20 years ago. She met Ouroboros' Grand Master, who brought her into the fold. Overlooked. No idea specifically what happened. He was not awakening. Interest wasn't he? Maybe you just didn't know about it. Okay, well, fair enough. Dreikel's... It leaves many questions, then. I don't know about them. In light of all that... Mr. D isn't immortal, is he? Well... You've aged. But that doesn't mean you won't stop aging, Reen. Also, Reen, you kind of... Remember, again, you have a weird magic heart in you. Which may affect things. Professor Gilith Osborne and the Chief of the Gnomes, Black Alberic. This is immortal like me. I'm just somehow passed down from one to the next. I'm going to bring out the Great Twilight. What's the Great Twilight? There's the end video's talking about. Is foretelling a future where everything ends. An apocalypse! No, it's not. It really isn't. Eustace, sorry. I'm sorry, Eustace. Fighting a war is not nearly the same as an apocalyptic end type scenario of prophecy. Especially since Ereboni has gone through numerous wars, apparently, over the ages. It's had the most bloodshed all the time. So you can't be like, well, this one, that's totally it this time. Alright. So, we're going to find out the church's view on this next time. We've got some things to think about. Interesting implications, but also counterpoints with how the knights work and immortality. Perhaps Osborne is more about the Awakener angle than being like McBurn. But, again, we have McBurn's comments about Reen. So they might not be the same thing. Reen and Osborne, like McBurn, might be their own thing. And then you got the Knights doing their own thing. But who comes back to life or not probably is related to the gnomes somehow. Interesting indeed. We'll take our break here. Thank you for watching. Please share your thoughts down below. I'd love to read them. I'll talk to you soon.